Since we're on the subject of supplementary feeding, I've been fool-arsing about, and anybody who's actually dry fed your pollen substitute out and you put your little pollen substitute there in a pot or bucket or whatever, so that make sure you don't get it wet. But the weird thing is the ladies end up with this little crust and they find it very hard to dig through, and it sets off and makes a little hard little lump. And then you come back in a week or so and they're all sort of sitting there going, well, what do I do? They need the little jackhammer. But they haven't got jackhammers in the bee box. They've only got little feet. And they're running around on top and they go, oh my God, we can't get in. And they want to get organised. So I've come up with an idea. The reason this idea happened was I had an old bucket, the honey tap, that I drilled the hole for the honey tap, and the honey tap, anyway, I screwed it up. And it was the wrong size jolly hole saw. And so I put my pollen in that bucket and I put it out with the bees, and the bees have gone in the bottom of the bucket and have worked their way up from underneath, and they haven't ended up with this jolly crust that they can't get through. As a process from that part of excitement and from the sugar feeding idea, I thought maybe if I drill some holes in a little bucket, and then the ladies can come along and just burrow their way into the pollen substitute and be all good in paradise. But it might not be too. But anyway, so let's see if we can't find a drill. I'm looking for my hole saw, but I can't find a hole saw that's the right size. I found a whole lot of bits and pieces for the hole saw and no middle bit. But even that hole is going to be too big. So I really want the hole to be roughly that big, or slightly bigger, but not too big, but not too small. Okay, ladies, just keep it quiet. Anyway, we're going to drill this hole in this bucket, and hopefully my wood drill in plastic is probably not ideal, but just to let you know, I know it's a wood drill and this is a plastic bucket, so just calm down, okay? Right, now my thought is, and we're not going to be worrying about the lip if you've just watched the sugar feeding episode. We're not worrying about the lip, we're just trying to make some holes, all right? So the lip doesn't really come into this project. Why is that? Why are you making that weird noise? What's wrong with you? I've got it on hammer drill or something, have I? Oh! This is what happens when it's got paint all over the directions. I don't know what to wear where I'm. In my defence, that was my lovely wife helping me put the boxes together. That would amaze you, wouldn't it? It wasn't even my mess. Hang on, what have we done? Other way. Whoa! Yeah, whoop! Look at that. I have a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear, a hole. We'll fix it, dear Henry, we'll fix it. But I don't want to fix it, Liza, I wanted the hole in there, I've drilled the damn thing. Well, get on with it, Henry. Oop. Come on. Oh, not ideal, Liza. Now my mad idea, of course, is that we're going to put the pollen substitute up to where the holes are up to. We might clean them up in a minute. And then I'm going to put my lid on. And then when we take it... Shit, I hope I can get that off. And then when we take it out to the yard, we're going to tip it upside down. And the ladies will come in here and they'll think it's a little flower. Well, they probably won't. But anyway, some way to give them a little bit of help along the way as they get ready for winter. We'll get the little shrapnel bits out of there. We'll find a little knife of some description. Ah, look at that. Give this a little bit of a tidy up. You know what? It probably doesn't really matter, but just for the sake of it, I think it'd be nice for it to be tidy. To make a decision as to which pollen we're going to put in here. Suggestions? You've got some bags left over. Actually, I've got some old bee feed in a bucket, so we might use that up. So I don't actually know what bee feed it is. It's just a bee feed on the bucket. It didn't say bee feed of any description, but if you happen to make pollen substitute out there in internet land and you'd like to get a bit of a shout out on the show, well, mate, hit me up and perhaps you could use your product. Oh. Oi, oi, oi. I think that's been in his shed for a while and all. Oh, come on. Oh. Looks like someone's been in here nibbling before. Hang on. What have I got to stir this up with?
Marty once told me the world is gonna roll me. Not the sharpest tool in the shed.
This is not the sharpest knife in your shed neither. But this actually is what I'm talking about. When you get in, like this bucket's been obviously sitting around for a little while and it's going a little bit crusty. And so my plan is that the ladies can just nibble away at the bottom of it and so they won't end up with a big layer of hard stuff that they can't get through. Of course, might be good, might be shit, as the saying goes around here. We don't really know because I'm sure there's somebody out there in Bee World that has done this once or twice, but for us, it's all new and fun. It works with a bigger hole. When we were in the dirt down the bloomin' scrub, actually way back when I was thinking that I was just going to be able to have one bee site in the mallee and just be happy beekeeper and almond grower and be all sweet, and then the rain didn't come for 2 years and everything went to the shit. And I thought in my wisdom, maybe I could just substitute feed my couple hundred hives with some sugar and some pollen, and let me tell you for free, that is pretty silly project. Hence a bloke had to go and get a truck, get a crane, get a blooming neck and get a spot and get some sites, and one would assume that's why we're migratory beekeepers here in Australia and probably most of the other places in the world. We move around where the honey is. I don't know, I guess that makes me either it makes me a dreamer or now I'm a realist, I guess. I've moved through the cycle, you see. I've come out the other end and I've decided that we have to find the food. But anyway, if you go back earlier on in the show, you'd probably see us feeding some bees in the mallee when there was no flowers. We've actually got flowers, and so this is just a top up. This is a bit like when you've got a baby and she's eating all the blooming, what's it called, the solids, and then you're putting her off to bed and you top her up with a bottle. So this is just topping up the girls as they're going off to bed. Technically for a bit of a longer sleep. Well, actually, technically the bees don't actually sleep. They just go in their hive and sit around and have cups of tea and go, shit, it's cold out there, Martha. What the hell's going on? And Martha says to Henrietta, just chill the fuck out, it's winter. That's a bit scary. Mum's got written up on the whiteboard, tidy shed. I think she meant tidying the shed, not actually it's a tidy shed, so. Poor thing, she actually did tidy up and I've only been in here a month and look at it again. You're a ruffian. Right, put that back on the floor and we'll get organised and go see what the girls reckon. As you can see, the girls are going off tap over here. So I thought I might put my suit back on just so I don't get stung to death. Mind you, they usually ignore you, so come over here and I'll show you where the idea for the holes actually originated. So our sugar feeders are working really well. It's been most successful, so I haven't had all the dead bees scattered. So this has alleviated the last, when they get to the end of the open feed, normally they're all fighting and getting carried away and they're all angry. Whereas this way, they still think they can get a little bit until then they all just calm down and bugger off like they would when a proper nectar flow finishes. And this is my original pollen idea. Well, this wasn't an idea at all. I just threw the pollen in a bucket with a hole in the bottom, and they're burrowing up from underneath. So if you come over here, you can see we're not gonna actually knock it down. You can see that they're actually coming up underneath the pollen. So then they can actually nibble away at it and it will fall down and help so they can just keep attacking it and getting more and more of it. So it seems to work really well, like rather than ending up with a crust on the top. But you know what, maybe I'm just a fantasy land, but they seem to enjoy it. So anyway, I thought I might just annotate a little bit further along the journey of pollen feeding. Right, so we're going to take our original bucket off, put our new one on. I might actually top my sugar up. This hive alive stuff's got the girls going off tap. They just can't get enough. I only just filled this up the other day. They can't drink it quick enough. Man, mind you, of course, there's a few bees coming from a few, you know, it's not just this little patch here. There's a few of them coming from everywhere. Since I'm here and I've got a little bit of more sugar on board, why not stoke them along? You see, there's no dead bees at all. It's amazing. Oh, and just as a footnote, if you happen to have watched the episode where we made this feeder, I actually ended up making the drill holes slightly bigger. So instead of, I say in the episode it's 2.5 mil drill, I actually used a 3 mil drill because the jolly stuff wouldn't get out quick enough. 2.5 mils was good when it was just water, but because sugar and water and Hive Alive are a little bit blooming thicker than you would imagine, I had to make the hole slightly bigger. So somewhere between, I'm guessing you could go with a 3 to a 3.5. Be at liberty to drill your holes any which way you like, but just don't get carried away, otherwise it'll run over the lip. Oh, so we've got our 1:1 sugar mix, so 1 litre of water to 1 kilo of sugar, 2.5 mils of Hive Alive, and everybody's happy, including me. Tell you what, the girls reckon they're on speed, they're going that good. Now, chickie babes, come on. I know. Man, hang on a minute. We don't want to crush anybody. We're going to all this trouble to keep the girls alive. We don't want to crush them. Get out the way, chicks. Go on, shoo. Stay alive, bees. Okay, come on. That's enough. Wait a minute. Wait, you hungry little sods. And they're back into it. Of course, until the air gets itself worked out, you have a little bit of a run over the top. Hang on, have I not sealed that properly? Fuck. Oh, no. Wait a minute. I don't think I've got my lid on properly.
Did you read the instructions?
Shush. Where's the gap? Why is that not sealing? Oh, come on, don't make a fool of me now. Did I read the instructions? Give you fucking instructions, lad.
They're on the lid.
I know, after the last episode, and then I didn't even drill the bloody holes. Stupid whacker. Anyway, make sure your lid's on properly, otherwise you've got some spillage going on. Tut. Rightio, here we go, girls. We're going to give you this bucket so you can have a little bit of a feed as well. So you get sugar and pollen. And that's a mess. Just wait a minute. Everybody said, what the hell happened then? Wow. I think I just made a mess. And hopefully they'll clean up the rest of it. We will find out. If you're following along at home, this is the prototype, so you've got to start somewhere. The thing about this show is we're not too proud to say we're on a journey. We're on a journey to find out which way is the best way to go about feeding bees, keeping bees happy, pollinating trees, making you some honey, making my lovely wife's lip balm. Well, I don't know, hell. It's all a journey, isn't it? It's a bit like life. If you stop learning, you're dead.